You can be on it. I'm talking to him right now. Doing that stream starting, waiting for that countdown to finish. See if I screwed any of this up. What's going on, everybody? Pixelated Pinball making his chat GPT AI. Yeah, I got some footage. I have some footage of Dune being played. I've seen about 2 seconds of it. I'm kind of saving it for all of you so we can experience it live. And we're testing out a new format, right? We're going to do a little podcasty stuff. Huzzah. Is your stream mascot American Pinball pixelated? It's just Galactic Tank Force. The theme is your mascot. Oh, man. Let's talk about it. It's here. Look at this. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, check it out. It's podcast time, and we're going to talk about Dune. We're going to talk about Kong. Let me know if I screwed up anything, because right now we're kind of winging it. Evil ad incoming. Silver Ion, what's going on? How's it going? Hopefully not. I think that there should be no more ads. They ran them. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about. We got some. Look at this. Look at this. It's Kong. You've probably seen it. You probably know. Can you not hear me? I think that's you. Yeah. Ha. Okay. So without further ado, we have two big launches, man. The Kong's released some footage, and after the teaser that came out, it was I was pretty stoked, and then the trailer came out, and I'm pretty mixed on it. Shall we take a look? Let's take a look. For anybody who hasn't seen it already, this is the Kong trailer. So you can tell they're showing off the LE already because you can see that the side armor on there. And the first thing that pops for sure is that they went wild with the color scheme. I mean, we're looking at like neon pinks, purples. It's bright. Yeah, absolutely, Silver. I have the same opinion that the proof's in the pudding to play it, but there are some undeniable things worth talking about, and that's what we're gonna get to. Yeah. And wait till we get to the chitty chat about. Oh, this is the trailer. Sorry, I thought this was the actual full introduction. We'll pull that up now. We'll jump through this because I feel like a lot of people have already seen this. And I have, what's up, Christopher Tranchi? I can't even talk. What's up, Christopher? How's it going? I have footage of Dune being played. Look, we'll give a little preview. You ready? Ooh, look at that. That's some other short that's going to autoplay. We'll get back to that. That's right. Look at that. That's fine. We'll start with this. Check it out. This is Kineticist. This is Colin over at Kineticist, and they're playing some Dune. And just kidding. We'll get to that.
Here today to unleash an epic pinball adventure.
First off,
one of the most iconic
Stern's actual presentation. These videos are so much better than their teasers. I really wish that they would improve the quality of their teasers. The hype trailers are kind of garbage. However, here we are.
To celebrate King Kong's
they do a good job of setting it up and actually giving a taste of what the actual game's going to be like. And whether you like that or not is a whole different story. What's up, Borg Dog? How's it going, man? Look at this. We're doing a Chitty Chat podcast. It's Chitty Chat podcast time. Here, it's Dirtypool cast. I don't even know. Damn it, Borg Dog! Stop talking over my stream. That's the shout out there. That's right, Dirty Poo Cast. So you either love or hate this artwork. And based on the Kong Gong that they showed, I really thought that they were going to go more in the direction of like Indiana Jones. And they've gone like, this is absolutely an assault on the senses. And I'm extremely mixed. There's 3 artists that are working on the art for this. You know, you've got Zombie Eddie, which is the now lead creative director over at Stern. And you have 2 other artists who I can't remember their names. They talk about it. Who are we looking at? I'm sure it says it in here, but we'll get there.
As he wreaks havoc across New York City.
So the first thing that pops out to me immediately is the layout. The layout looks awesome. You can see that's definitely the premium here because the side panels do not have the decorative lines on them like they did earlier. If you notice in the opening teaser that we saw on the other one, there's like these Aztec gold highlights along them, and that's definitely the LED. But both these machines, this and Dune, I feel like the external cabinet artwork is not great. But the playfield artwork does have its own thing going on. And look who it is, it's Elwin. What's up, Keith?
Elwin, lead game designer of our latest game, King Kong, Myth of Terror Island.
So here you go. You're looking at the Pro on the left here and the Premium on the right. This is not the LE. Again, as I mentioned, you can see that there's no expression lighting on here and that there's no, side armor that's fancy side armor.
With King Kong, we wanted to create an entirely new interpretation of the iconic story. Players will join and...
Art style. All right. I get why they went cell shaded, right? Stern doesn't have the money to do fur rendering on their characters, right? It would just be too much time. So how do you make things cheaper but still go with animation? Look at tons of kids animation. You cell shade it. So they've chosen to stylize this footage to be presentable because they didn't want to use footage from the movies, obviously. So like this is both like a good decision and an unfortunate scenario because you just can't avoid the cell shaded look. Like you either love it or you hate it. So I think that there's going to be some pretty divisive stuff here. People really seem to be liking what they're seeing here. And I don't know, man. I'm just really mixed. Like this isn't great. You know, look at Jersey Jack stuff, and we'll get to the Dune stuff. There's no Dune video footage. We'll have to look at the live footage that I have and see if we can actually see any of the video footage in the background. But you know, you've got, oh man, this arm thing. We've talked about this. This arm it just sounds like it's waiting to be a problem and break. Like they already pushed this concept on the on Uncanny X-Men. You know. The old finger puppets there didn't do very well, and now we've got another big old arm blocking balls that could be coming up too fast. You know, it's only a matter of time before that arm starts to get too beat up that it's not functioning correctly. I have the same issue with the he doesn't need it, he grabs it. Yeah. I have the same issue with the spider toy that's coming up in a second too. So you've got Kong Gong here, which this is really wild. The Kong Gong clearly rejects shots a certain amount of times and then actually allows it to pass through on other ones. But as you'll see on the Pro, it's an archway. Like there is nothing blocking it. So the play that's involving this element of the game is totally different on the Pro versus the Premium. Oops, come back.
Decorated temple.
But whatever, Kong Gong's cool. The reversing, there's a lot of like little details. Like the initial like playfield kind of looks like, okay, like whatever, but there's so much little stuff going on here. You know, like you said, you've got this VUC here. Let's slow it down. We'll play this in super cool slow-mo.
5.
Yeah, all right. Kong Gong.
Kicking target.
Yeah.
Which launches balls back at the player. Or can drop into the secret entrance to...
So that's cool. I mean, you're talking about, and there's a diverter later on that they show with the, what's the name of the shot? Help me out here. There's like a mini flipper that shoots into like these vertical stand-ups.
Wireform return.
I think it's coming up.
Unlock the secret.
All right, so here. So we have this 4-bank that comes off this small like thing. By the way, there's Gary Stern's Easter egg right there. People have been pointing it out. But if you didn't know, now you know. What up, Gary?
4-bank.
Okay, so you've got there's a diverter here that pops up and leads the ball down to a small flipper here, which then you can use to mash these drop targets. Elwin loves drop targets. I love drop targets. I love that. There he is. If that was a hidden, if that wasn't such an obvious Gary Stern Easter egg. So then, then this train car dumps the balls in. So I appreciate, this is the most loaded Keith Elwin game that we've seen to date, in my opinion. And I love the way they've crammed in a lot of little details in here without making it feel kind of like so overly populated that it starts to feel kind of like a Jersey Jack game. The spider is going to break. The sculpts are cool on this, but the stupid spider is going to shatter. Like, look at this.
Guarded by a custom
I don't, maybe the spider's not stupid. I'm being a little. But look, the ball clearly is right on these thin little feet. And as soon as that slams down and pops onto it, even if it's rubber, at some point it's gonna break. I just, right? Like, as if it was rubber, you'd think that these legs would be flailing around, but look how stiff they are. Like, this is popping hard up and down, and there's no flexibility here. I think this is hard cast. That's fine for underneath it, but what about the tip of the leg? Like, it just takes one leg to happen to slam down right on the ball as the magnet throws it against it, and then you've got, little bits of spider legs going around. So, like, this is really nitpicky, and I understand that, but if we're talking about small things that may be an issue later on in the game, like, Stern doesn't, it seems like Stern hasn't been testing big picture with their games recently. So, do you think that they've put 1,000 balls under the spider to make sure that its legs don't shatter off of it?
Terrain by exploring the thrilling helix-shaped biplane ramp.
And then you've got your kind of like Infinity Quest big ass ramps like in the middle. So I mean, I think that there's a lot to do from each flipper, and this is something that get out of here, mouse. There's a lot to do from each flipper, and where are we? We're at 253. We're gonna come back there. Let's look at the playfield here. Okay, so every flipper has a lot to do, and the way the returns happen are very interesting. And this is something that I love about Elwin's designs, and something that I think is very lacking on certain other games. That we might be talking about. So you've got at least 3 or 4 shots from each flipper, and that gives choices to the game. And that is, to me, absolutely critical, and what's going to make a game longevity not boring, especially if they can make the rules go. So we'll see what version the rules are. This is the other kind of stuff I'm talking about. This secret ball path they're talking about here. We'll slow it down again. Look over here on the left. Shut up, Dungeons and Dragons. Clearly, if this gate isn't up, so it's got a little bit of like El Dorado, or what's another game that's got double flipper? Globetrotters. You've got that. If you lift your flipper up and roll it, you roll it down the diverter path here, and it goes through the secret path underneath the plastic. That's cool. You gotta love it.
Ball path return.
And then you got like a little Jaws pop out here. Boop. Or even like Fathom. It's not inverted, but. Right, so we're talking like, there's details on details here that I think that are gonna make this game a lot more fun than the initial observation. But we're gonna get to my biggest crux here, and this is something that I have been very critical of Stern over the last like 2 games, and unfortunately it's the same criticism. Here's the diverter. This is right at the top of the river that we just talked about. Here, should have it set up so we can do a full frame. Let's try it. Whee! You've got this full-size diverter here.
Setting up shots.
Same diverter that's right here.
From the upper.
So that's pretty neat. I like that. I think that's a cool little addition. I want Dune over this, and we're going to get to that. I think Dune is, for me, probably going to be a more interesting game. Because, I don't know, there's so much. I'm probably going to get both. This is a good time to get 2 pinball machines. And that guy's going away. Bye-bye, D&D. You're out. Dune and this is in.
Taking place on Terror.
Right. So the right choice, The right choice is to wait until the code is at a point where it's worth getting it. I'm going to commit to getting an LE with the reason for that being is that someone will always want to buy an LE. So if the game is really bad, at some point it should be no problem to part with it. Someone will buy it. And then we get it on stream earlier for everybody. So, you know, Dune only has one version of the game.
In their battle against King Kong.
So, all right. So then we've got the Kong toy. Yeah, the only reason to get an LE, the only reason to get a Stern LE is because you don't want to put side panels in, you don't want to put a shaker motor in, you don't want to put art panels on it, you don't want to fucking put Invisiglass in, and all of this stuff comes standard on Dune. Like, part of the reason that I am so stoked for Dune from Barrels is because they know how to be honest to their customers. Like, I don't want to buy a premium, which is supposed to be substantially a step up from, you know, the Pro, and then have to do a shit ton of work on it. It sucks replacing the fans inside of it and all the other stuff. Labyrinth is a great game, and you can see when I get to Dune how they've really popped it too. It's awesome. I don't really care too much about the animatronic Kong, to be perfectly, like, for me, but, you know, Punchback is cool. You know, I think that they've got a lot of really neat things going on. Ramp return, something that has always been Keith Elwin. Like, I don't know. He's just always been amazing at that. And he loves drop targets. Like, I don't know. The more I see the playfield layout, the more that I think that this is going to be a fun game. I just personally don't like the art package. And this is the shitty part. This is where I think...
by 3 legendary pinball illustrators.
Not this, but here, this is the other 2 people that are on it. I don't know. Jeremy Packer is Zombie Eddie. I don't know who Kevin O'Connor and Greg Freyers are. I'm guessing that they're comic book artists or responsible for this kind of, you know, art style. If anybody else knows in chat, please sound off. And also, I want to know what you guys think. I mean, this is kind of like a whole, like, let's shoot the shit and talk about it.
Kevin O'Connor, the legendary...
Oh, interesting. Well, so that's clearly why they're showing this. If you're aware of, let me fix my hair, fix my receding hairline. If you can see here, like, this is the exact layout in the center here as the unreleased Kong that never made it. So they did a really authentic, like, kind of shout out here to the original King Kong. And that's really cool. I mean, that's like kind of just an Easter egg for people that are just obsessed with the history of pinball, but, like, come on. I mean, that's great.
Greg Freyers and Jeremy Packer, aka
Revenge from Mars, the pinball 2000 that sank pinball. All right, here we go. You can see the LE again here, obviously because of the side panel. You see the art blades here. They've got foil underneath it, which is kind of neat, given that, like, futuristic Aztec vibe. But then, you know, you've really got to be into the color scheme that they went down with.
Yeti all contributed to this art package. King Kong comes with all new original animations, music.
So here we go with the animations. Yeah, so they went with all original music. They didn't mention anybody who did the music for it. I'm curious who they hired. It says Brian Quinn did the VO, and we're about to talk about that.
It also features custom speech by
Here we go. This is where I'm going to be critical of Stern yet again. To give some insight here, for about 6 years, I cut dialogue for some of the biggest video game franchises and worked closely with Margaret Tang. You can go look her up, who is one of the biggest voiceover directors in the entire voiceover industry in video games and also in animation. What's up, Pink Ninja Man? How's it going? Purple's a great color, man. Purple and pink, just like Pink Ninja Man here. We'll let Pink Ninja Man talk over this because he's here. He's here chatting. We'll look at Keith Elwin nice and big while we do that. Oh, I guess we're done. Anyways, so I've worked cutting dialogue and listening to technical directors give their voiceover or give commentary to the performers that are acting. And this is everything from actual actors like Lawrence Fishburne. I remember, you know, I worked on Call of Duty, I worked on Shrek. Like, I cut a lot of dialogue for video games. And having a voiceover director is critical, because when you have a guy in his house or a home studio trying to do voiceover and it doesn't have someone to give feedback on what the, like, inflections are, you get this.
Comedy legend Brian Q. Quinn from Impractical Jokers.
Nah. That ape's not keeping her for long. We're going in.
practical jokers.
Nah. That ape's not keeping her for long. We're going in.
This is one soundbite. Oh, I gotta fix the frame there. Dang it. It's shit. It's awful. And that's not because he's a bad voiceover actor. It's because nobody is there giving him direction so that there is like a cohesive art style. So Stern's going to put the effort in to have an art director be involved and make sure that their art package is cohesive and has like they made sure that the art for the game is like big, themed correctly, feels like part of the entire package. And then they're going to get a guy who's doing his voiceover at his home studio with zero direction. And you get this lifeless, bad voiceover. And you can see it in certain, like, okay, so you can tell that, what's up? How's it going, Raymond? You can tell, like, Dungeons & Dragons definitely didn't have a voiceover director, and it suffered from it. You can tell that Godzilla did, or at least had somebody who was being hired to do such a specific style, like the announcer voice for it, for like the talking about the Zillions coming in and everything. Like there was clearly a voiceover director involved, and you get a real performance. You don't get this.
That ape's not keeping her for long. We're going in.
So I'm worried about that. That's just flat out. You look at games like Lord of the Rings, like even Ghostbusters, and that's, you can tell that they didn't have a voiceover director for that. And this isn't just Stern's fault, man. This is a problem currently in like all pinball industry stuff right now. Evil Dead, holy moly. Spooky put together such an incredible pinball machine. And then just the line delivery for all of Ash is just awful. And I get it. He's done the character for so long, but it doesn't have any of the nuances and character that the original films had. And like, that's what you want. And the call outs are such an important part of the pinball experience. Like you're listening to these voice snippets over and over and over again. So if they stand out and they're not good, it's such a problem. And it's such a small amount of effort, and it's such a small amount to have a voiceover director involved. So for the amount of dialogue that they shot, so we would blow through when I was doing like Call of Duty and Elder Scrolls, when we were doing cut and dialogue for that, a single day of voiceover, they could record 30, 40, 50 pages of dialogue for a single character, and they would do 2 or 3 characters a day. You could blow through all of the necessary dialogue that's needed in a single game in 1 or 2 days. Easily. The rate for hiring a voiceover director to be involved in that is nothing. This is like a fraction of the cost of even like one pinball machine. It makes no sense not to go and find somebody who has some experience being a technical director or a voiceover director and have them involved during the recording process when they're doing production on that. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. It's just oh my God, I gotta hear it again.
By comedy legend Brian Q. Quinn.
Comedy legend.
Nah. That ape's not keeping her for long. We're going in.
And through the power of Insider Connect.
Get over here. What's going on? Get over here. It's like he's working on Sopranos. Maybe that's the remake. No. Anyways, so, oh man, I don't know. Do you think Evil Dead sucks, like the whole game, or just the voiceover, Raymond? It is still working. Better modes than D&D also. I agree. Oh, okay. Anyways, so
explore Terror Island on an unforgettable treasure hunt.
Those are the 3 things that I'm most worried about, right? Is just like how the art package, I click around and ruin everything. No, get out of here. Get back here. Get back to the correct thing. I also like Evil Dead, Raymond. I'm sorry. I mean, but he could be a good voiceover actor. The snippet that they picked is just very tone deaf. It's weird. Like, you know, they're going to set it up with like this production value and everything. And then they have, the rug really ties the room together too, if you know what I mean.
For you to battle the
All right,
eighth
let's
wonder of
see
the
this to the
world.
end, then we'll jump over to Dune, and then I'll play some of the footage that we have of Dune being played live. Maybe like this. Oh, what's this? Whoa, it's Dune being played. Unfortunately, you can see the camera has the HDR running so hot that the playfield looks like it's, I don't know, like light gray beyond belief. But anyways, check it out. We got secret footage. I'll show you. We'll play it later. All right. It does look like Whitewater. People have mentioned that. Whitewater's a great game, though. Let's talk Dune. I could not be more stoked for this, especially the giant anus that flies up in the air. So we don't have anything more than the trailer. Oh no, the Photoshop is so terrible. But distributors have said that there's an alternate back glass that comes with it that's not movie themed. And I'm very excited for that because didn't Labyrinth came with an alternate translate, right? Yeah, there you go. So the exterior of the game is the only problem. Same. Raymond, I could not be more stoked for this. I have wanted to get into the Barrels kind of like pinball ecosystem. Get out of here, Wisebot. Yeah, I did stuff on YouTube. Go check it out or something. Anyways, there's a lot of really neat stuff in the briefs that I've read about this. So there's this captive ball. Let's get to it. Okay, so this captive ball here, you can shoot a ball in there that gets locked, and then you use magnets to throw it through the spinner here, which is really neat. There's 4 ball locks. These drop targets happen. Hold on. So yes, this rises up in the air. I'll have to pull up the still images of it. There's a ramp that you use to launch the ball. Here, let's pull it up here. Let's see what we got. Let's find some footerino here. Okay. So this ramp here. Nope. Zoom in. Nope. That's not it. Nope. Son of a bitch. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Anyways, this ramp is an air launch ramp, apparently, which you hit and then you slam into this as a bash toy. So this is a bash toy. Dune's price point is $11,000 and $600 other dollars. So it's $11,600. And here's the thing about that, though. Before you're like, oh shit, that's $1,000 more than the Labyrinth. It is. However, you are getting a shaker motor. You are getting a side panels. You are getting Invisiglass with it, and you are getting an expression lighting system in the sides. I think it falls down onto the ramp here, the diverter the wire form that's available here, or it falls down and rolls into this area down here with the pits. So I'll pull up the description of it. And I'll show you, and we'll watch the video footage. Hopefully we can see that. Right, exactly. So you're getting over $1,000 worth of things that are independently sold through Stern for way more than that. I mean, their shaker motors like $400. Art panels are $400. I mean, for those 2 things alone, you're already paying, more than the cost of all 4 things that you get for Dune. And it comes with the expression lighting system, stock. So for Barrels of Fun, you're getting all of this. Look, you get the topper, which I don't really care about. Where I put most of my pins, I don't have space for a topper, so I kind of don't give a shit. But in this particular case, you get the topper, you get the expression system on the speakers, you get an expression lighting system on the playfield, which you'll see when I pull up the footage in a second. You get Invisiglass, powdered armor, shaker motor, and art side panels. I'm sure you could turn it off in the code. Who cares? It's also referred to as low profile, which I think is good because the amount of I don't like stadium lighting for the most part on pins. I think it's just like too much. But whatever, like you have choices. I'm sure you could unplug it and or turn it off in code. The worst part about this game, in my opinion, is this back glass. This is horseshit. What is this? Oh my God. Ugh, let me see if I can pull up a better shot. Yeah. Like, I don't want to look at Timothy Chalamet's fucking mug the entire time I'm playing. Ugh. What's up, McLean? Well, we're looking at my next purchase. I've already pre-ordered, so this is Dune, and I'm gonna get one. All the people that are hating on it, they don't know what they're talking about. So you get, look at this. Like, I think that Barrels of Fun's playfield artists are a masterclass in UI through the playfield, right? Like, not only does the accent, yeah, it does look sick on your tiny phone. You've got the composition here with the worm already on the magnet overlay here sets kind of a flow. And then everything from like the flipper shape and the way they accent this like entire area here, like that the in lanes are part of a system here that flow like this. You've got excellent laid out inserts that reflect these different areas of the shots. You've got a nice gradient. You don't have an unnecessary assault of the senses here, and then it transitions into brown. And yes, there is a lot of brown on this playfield, but they've also tempered it with a lot of cyan and blue, which is like an absolute complementary color to the brown. Like, I don't know. Like, this doesn't bug me. And when you see what the expression lighting system does, like, yeah, it's fucking Dune, man. It's gonna be brown. Get brown, code brown. They got this whole, like, the sculpts on this are amazing. Like, there are so many good sculpts in here. Let's take a look. Here. Well, we'll play some of this footage. Let me see if I can actually, like, frame this correctly, because I don't know why, but it's shot vertical because people hate life. All right, window capture. We'll scale this down for now. All right, here we go. So this is footage from Kineticist. This is from Colin. Colin shared this with us, and this is Dune. This is actual real footage of Dune. Here we go. So again, the expression lighting, or I'm sorry, the HDR is clearly, yeah. So you can't really see you can't see the bash toy so much in the upper left, but here. I think it's got good side-to-side motion. Ooh, that ramp looks like it may be a problem to hit, but I could say that that's probably going to be a similar issue with the biplane too. What's up? The Illuminati ladies are attending, or at least one. What's up, Scone? They do look like poo, but sometimes you just need some poo in your pins. Oh, hello. Look at that. Magic water. Look, water is life, man. It's like, you got to get water when you're on Dune. You do. So more than anything here with Dune, I think that the way they've described a lot of their systems are super unique, and I'm really excited with that. Yeah, but sometimes you want floaty turds in your game. I really like this is kind of like a reference to Totan. These what's not Earthshaker? What was the other pin that had the like hash minus LEDs back in the late 90s, right? Early 2000s. Gotta drink water, man. It's important to drink water. Get hydrated. Roadshow, thank you very much. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, I don't know. Like, I think the brownness is such an you've got an LCD inside there, you got expression lighting, there you go. You got this is the floating anus. Here it is. Boom, look at that. The worm eats the ball. If you wanted to complain about how the worm didn't eat the ball, it does it. It absolutely does. Should the shark not eat the ball? No. Also, I don't mind the shark not eating the ball. Getting bashed is not a big deal. But yeah, there's all sorts of mechanics on here. I'm stoked for this game. You can put anything you want in a hole. That's like from experience. You can just do it. I know. All right, so let's see. We're gonna take a look at some of the documentation here, and then that's gonna be it because I gotta go do some work today. Let's see. Was it Nap? I think had. That's not Nap. I think Nap has. The press release doc. Yeah, here it is. Oh my God, Lord, you can't read half that. Oh my God, yeah. So it's got a 5 1/4 inch speaker system stock, the 15-inch display. It's got anti-reflective glass. It's got the side panels. It's got it's got their HAL system, which is the atmospheric lighting. That's what they're calling their, I know, right? This is unfortunately low res. I don't think the Dune site had, let's take a look. I don't think that they had it available for download, but let's see. Maybe I'm wrong here. They still haven't updated their flyer section to have anything other than Labyrinth. Kaneda put out a big article he went rampant talking about how terrible their launch was. And I don't know, man. I think that's a little over dramatization, but there is some truth to what he's saying for sure. Anyways, Yeah, there's a multi-entry scoop. It says here, build your attack. They have the up posts that there's a fucking outlane here that like returns the ball through the, it shoots into the same wire form that is the return on the left rail, which is super cool. Then you've got the secret fork trap on the right over here. I guess I should probably scroll it up so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So there's like a whole hidden pathway over here. Underneath this box here is a kickback that launches it back up onto the wire form here. This is a bash toy. That's what I was saying here. This ramp launches it into the air to hit that. Where does it talk about that? Let's see if we can, if I zoom in on this, it's probably going to be even more horrendously pixelated. Let's see. Ball eating vertical sandworm thumper, Harkonnen harvester, and something palm box. Yeah, interactive Harkonnen harvester. Shoot the jump ramp to damage and destroy. Ball lock the harvester with exploding something action. So exploding cockpit action. So this cockpit apparently flops out. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Anyways, thank you everybody for joining. I'm sorry to cut it a little short, but that's a good look at both Dune and Kong right now, and my thoughts on both of them. I've got to go deal with some house maintenance issues, which is what the Illuminati ladies decided to come in and let me know about, which is good. Anyways, that's terrible. I can't wait to see what the alternate backlash is. I'll be streaming later tonight. We're going to do some more Ghostbusters before we have to swap that out. Then we're going to go back to Lord of the Rings, I think. Maybe some Attack from Mars. I don't know. All sorts of stuff going on. But anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed seeing some of this footage. I'm going to go. Bye. Oh, right. Let's go raid somebody. That's what I meant. Bye.